What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to a special video. All you know that, well, WildRift has a very funny thing ongoing with Heartsteel, and every single character out there can potentially build Heartsteel and still win games. And specifically in WildRift, where you can build pretty much anything and still win due to how the game works, specifically on lower MMR accounts or while playing with lower MMR accounts, you can completely unleash your creativity and have the most fun possible. In the bottom left, you see like a 0 on-hit build unless you want to factor in the Titanic Hydra as an on-hit item. But even that is very much possible. But before we talk about that one, let's talk about my partners in the description below. They're doing a massive giveaway. If you join the Discord server there and add the accounts that they ask you to add in-game, you have a chance of winning a skin in-game. And also while doing that, you gracefully outmaneuver the 14-day waiting period because you have to wait anyway, and then afterwards, if you truly want to, you can save big time on buying skins from them too. So you win anyway, whatever you do, be it you just buy something there or you just don't, you might just win anyway. Anyway, let's talk about this gameplay again. Now we see the Master Yi is on his way to clear the jungle. Nothing that fancy so far, you see typical jungle clear, nothing too unusual. Let's see if we see like some specific transition. Yeah, he does something really nice. He drags the camp to the next camp and then uses the Alpha Strike to finish off the remaining survivor of the camp. Lee Sin tries to go for a cheeky early game invade, but is too late. The Master Yi is already in a better position. Again, leashes the camp to get the kill onto the camp. Beautifully done. Very nicely done. Keeps the smite charge, so the full clear is about 136 plus once my charge is available. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. That's pretty fast. Now the Yi is going for his earliest spike, which in this case is going to be Zerker Grease. Zerker Grease for Master Yi are very powerful in the early game. The reason is quite obvious: AD and attack speed. Why is attack speed so good for Master Yi? If you take a close look into his passive, where he has like this double hit mechanic, you see he hits, like if he hits something, he gets like a stack, you see stack 1, stack 2, and then you have stack 3, and then it's a double hit. The double hit is really powerful with the third ability, plus there's a few like little unique mechanics that you have to think about. Master Yi has multiple auto attack resets. His third ability is an auto attack reset, and his second ability is an auto attack reset. So, when he has these stacks right now, like 2 stacks, if I'm not mistaken, because then on the third hit, like here, would be an instant hit. So if you have 3 stacks and then activate your third ability, it will be a double hit, which then will apply 2 true damage instances instantly. Your second ability is also an auto attack reset. If you're not familiar with this, an auto attack reset describes your champion just immediately auto attacking again without any extra wind up time, bonus time, like cooldown, because you can also view auto attacks as a so-called cooldown, because you have a certain attack speed, and unless this period has passed, you will not be able to attack again. That is basically the entire thing. Lee Sin ganking mid lane, Master Yi in a good position here, pops the old Highlander going in. Lee Sin not going to do anything here. Master Yi sadly can't chase into the tower, they need to wait until Tibbers tanks, but the Twisted Fate is completely zoned off. Also, like, it's kind of sad nowadays, because Twisted Fate really isn't a champion, and Annie is still absolutely underrated as a pick. This champion's damage is surreal. We can be very happy that the durability patch came in and sudden impact has been nerfed, because Annie was such an annoying champion to face, specifically utilizing the Hexflash rune, because the Hexflash rune would gain her the or grant her the sudden impact bonus, and then she would just completely annihilate you. Because, well, you know how Annie functions, you just have your Boots of Mana, sudden impact rune, and then you just one-tap people. It was so annoyingly OP. And as of this moment, it's still very good, just fortunately, Annie is underplayed. The same thing applies to Yi though. This champion is underplayed. I think I also underrate him because I don't see him enough. I think he should be S tier maybe instead of like high A tier. I don't make differentiations in my tier list, so you don't really see the nuances between the champion power levels, because I think for the WildRift player, the typical WildRift player, or how the game is right now, it just doesn't matter. As long as you see these champions are within the S tier, which describes the meta, you're fine. I think this approach is like the best to save you time and make life easier determining champion power levels that are relevant for the game. Okay, Varus dying. Oh, stacking now. Nice play here. Gets instantly on top of them. Dijana tanks for a brief moment. Alpha Strike is used to reset tower aggro, and the Meditate is also used to mitigate the incoming damage. As of this moment, the Master Yi is only functioning on base damages. He doesn't really have so much damage, because normally as Master Yi, you'd really prefer having attack speed items that have on-hit effects, like Blade, Terminus, Wit's End, like these items. And then afterwards, you would look into tank itemization, which for example into hyper-physical comms, you would just pick up Death Stance. Death Stance would make life a lot easier because, well, you're a streaking champion. But what is a streaking champion? Many of you are very familiar with champions such as Katarina. Like, it's very obvious what happens if a Katarina gets a reset. She just blasts and kills everyone. The same applies to Master Yi with, for example, Death Stance. Like, every single time you see Master Yi getting a reset, getting partially his cooldowns back, and an extension of his Highlander, his ultimate ability, you will see that he will turn invulnerable. Like, you see, he just disappears. Nice meditate, but sadly not enough. And when that happens, when Master Yi is using his Alpha Strike, all the damage effects that are applied to him still do damage to him, but you can't inflict new damage to him. Like, no new instances of any damage. So with that happening, you will be avoiding active damage by the enemy, which is a big problem for them, because you disappear for quite some time. Like, if you get 2 Qs up during a fight, it's almost as close as to Zonya Sing in there. But the thing is, you are not stationary. You are not necessarily just a victim in that moment. You're actively dealing damage, while the enemy is incapable of dealing damage to you. So you also have the ability, which is probably the most important thing when it comes to Master Yi, to avoid getting damage. Because Master Yi has multiple ways of avoiding damage. It's his second ability, which is a massive damage mitigation tool, as well as the first ability. Like, negating damage with this offers like a very high skill ceiling. Now, many of you in the comments would be like, Master Yi is such an easy champion, I just press Q and just run them down. Yes, surface level, absolutely true. The entry skill level for Master Yi to quote-unquote perform is not that high, but the higher you go, and the more CC heavy enemy champions will be, the more you can and have to do as a Yi to have impact. Because if you have the ability to consistently avoid, for example, Twisted Fate yellow card, like you avoid every yellow card with your Q, or use a second ability to not get bursted while you get stunned. All of these things, they really start mattering a lot as the game level increases. Because this mitigation is so powerful. Also, when it comes to dives, you can just bounce around the turret aggro, which is so beautiful. Like, I'm selling into the Yi stocks. Like, I just bought 10,000 Yi stocks with the stock market crash, and now I just have to, make you play him. Because, obviously, I get extra money from Riot Games when people play, That's all how I do all my videos. Right, just says you need to promote this champion. I say okay, sure, and then they wire me some pocket change. I wish though, I wish. But yeah, that one doesn't exist. Can't even get them to fix bugs, nor get people punished for cheating. W. Anyway, another thing that many people to this day don't really understand is buying into the rune of overgrowth when you play jungle. If you have a jungle champion that is very capable of farming or hyper farming, which most of the jungle meta champions are, then having a rune such as overgrowth is very, very nice to have. On average, I think you get between 300 and 500 HP per game from this rune, and that is like roundabout between 1000 and 1500 gold in value. Now, depending on what other items you go for example, Sterox or Gargoyle, obviously the value of this is then amplified since you have a higher HP pool. The items will yield you more stats, more shielding, more whatever. And that way you get even stronger. It's also quite the interesting thing to see, like when you have such a high HP champion, let's say you have Heartsteel on like a few thousand stacks, and then suddenly you have something like Sundered Sky. Sundered Sky has been nerfed, I think, twice already in its lifetime, and it's a lot weaker than it used to be. But if you get to hit somebody or multiple people because the cooldown is individual from champion to champion, it's quite the interesting thing to see your HP bar go up again. But yeah, luckily the item has become so much weaker that it isn't just a forced meta pick item anymore. Like, you don't have to build this item. It is not like, oh, you don't have this item, it's GG. In fact, there are not really that many champions that are still using it. You have Camille that can utilize it pretty well. You have Narcissus. Did I miss someone? Camille, Narcissus. Who else uses it? I don't think many. I mean, you can make the argument of going like you can go it on like assassins. Like, let's say you are an assassin champion and you have 4 lethality or armor pen items. Then having the Thunder Sky gives you the ability, because your goal, like your gameplay loop, is to just one-shot somebody as fast as possible. Therefore, Thunder Sky, because it's a guaranteed pseudo crit, will help you deal more damage than, for example, any other item. Because for like as an assassin, you don't have the luxury to buy into crit, because crit is a scaling stat, and Thunder Sky would just allow you to bypass that one, and then you have a guaranteed pseudo crit on one attack, which then is the most damage possible to just one-shot somebody. Yeah, that is basically the idea behind it. Bro's tanky for days, gets kicked into the face and dies again. He has so much HP and still dies. Uzi is getting ran down by the Camille. What is Volleybro doing? TPing in here, Nasher, not low enough to be killed, goes onto the backline, the Lucian is running, Lucian dies, gets kicked into the face, 1 Heartsteel stack, nice meditate, another Q reset coming in. Camille jumped to Narnia with the E because she autocasted it. Another nice thing, similar to Invis champions, Master Yi, if you just press Q and the enemy uses autocast, will shoot to Narnia. Like, the same happens every single time. Let's say you fight in a minion wave and some champion goes stealth and you're autocasting, you will just instantly hit a minion, you'll be like, oh hell nah. What did I just do? I just ran it down so badly. And it happens actually quite frequently. Especially if you're paying close attention to the enemy spells. It's really nice. It's a really cheeky trick. Back to clearing. He doesn't really have that many stacks so far. So here we are, balling it back. The good thing is, like, Heartsteel, just itself, is such an insane item. Like, I say so like every third video, but in WildRift, it's such a crazy item. 700 health, an abundance of haste, and obviously the bonus damage effect are like insane value. Kimball being spotted, 296. He just gained 45 HP from that kill. Again, to put it into perspective, I'd probably said it for the 900th time. Every 150 HP you gain from Heartsteel is 500 gold in value, because a Ruby Crystal is 150 HP for 500 gold. Quite interesting how much damage he does for the fact that he doesn't really have any on-it items. He is cooking up some crazy stuff. The tanky. Let's be honest for a second. Dopamine-wise, yeah, I'm mining dopamine, no problem, bro. Dopamine-wise, playing this tanky is a lot less satisfying than playing the full on-hit one-shot Yi. Because you just slice through the enemy team like butter. But here, this guy is just gonna tank so much. But at the same time, let's just imagine a team fight, and the Lee Sin kicks the Yi into the backline of any Varus and Janna. That will nearly one-shot them. That is going to be so fun to see if it happens. Also, I think there's 9 days in the season left. The question is, what do I do? Do I play for Sovereign? Do I not play for Sovereign? Do I play my second account to Challenger? Questions on top of questions. I really don't know, because if I play, like, I'll stream it anyway. Because nowadays I will not play without streaming. So everyone can enjoy and bear witness of how many map hackers I encounter, how many times I'm right or wrong about them, and how many times I can prove it with just one game, and how they'll never get banned. Or maybe in a few months. But we lean back and wait. His team is going for some questionable positioning in the jungle. They have control though. They have a lot of walls deep into the jungle, so they have to just focus on the objective and turn on the enemy if they get too close. Indeed, they get too close. Kimball instantly falls. They went too close before Nasher even spawned. Now he's just running them all down. You're an 80 carry. You will never survive a Master Yi in this stage of the game. That's just something you can't do. Unfortunately, here's QSS doesn't even matter anymore. But yeah, if there's one thing that 80 carries really, really hate, it's facing Master Yi. That guy is just going to run you down, and there's nothing you can do. Ghost Cane? Okay. That's an interesting approach. I haven't seen that one yet. Time for a quick sip. Ice cold water, the dream. That's so good. Ice cold water is the dream. So every single time he drags a camp to another camp, it seems like it's close to 200 and like 1 to 5 HP. Let's take a little bit more caution and take a good look as to when he transitions, like the specific HP. Like you see, he puts 2 points into his first ability for the jungle clear. And I'm just curious to see the threshold HP, because that's like the most important part when you want to recreate these type of clears, is just to look at when he does what input to have like the highest level. You see, this is a double hit, so it will get a little bit lower, but it seemed like his Q dealt a lot of damage to this minion. Like, his Q probably does close to 500 damage. Yeah, and transitioning doesn't really do too much for him unless he gets a good angle for the Q. Yeah, that's so much damage though. And it's a pretty nice full clear. Kane is here already. He skipped one camp though. You see it with the HP, XP bar. Nice W by that one, but he will probably still fall. And the problem is, the Kane will get such a big lead of this. The Kane didn't do all camps. Darius, mod check. The Kane didn't do all camps. Like, he was, what the hell, Darius? Okay, okay. Anyway, the Kane didn't do a camp, so he still had something to do after that kill. Then went for a reset. That could be a little bit sketchy for the Kane. Flashes after. Yep. You don't want to mess with the Master Yi though. Level 5 is a pretty sizable power spike for that guy. You see the damage he does, the true damage bonus, like everything, and he's just gonna hunt them all down. The full, like, you stack lethal tempo up so fast, and the damage you deal is so insane. But many people don't know, Master Yi is very delicate when it comes to power spikes. Like, very delicate. If you understand how much of a power difference level 4 to 5 and every single item completion he has, like, Boots is a very big power spike, Boots level 5. Then normally would be Blade. And then with every item completion, you have such an increase in power level. It's not like it's kerxx. For example, kerxx, Boots level 5 power spike. And then every single bit of AD you build is a massive spike for you because of how much damage you deal with AD and how your champion functions. But since Master Yi is so heavily centered around auto-attacking a lot and applying all of these on-hits plenty of times, you will notice every single completion so much more than on other champions. Just something to keep in mind if you want to actually pick up the Yi. Not much happening right now, a little bit of downtime. Also, it's gonna be very interesting because he goes Heartsteel, and if the Kayn goes Red Kayn, which I hope for this Kayn, like if he doesn't go Red Kayn, he has like then he needs to be studied. Then he needs to be studied ASAP. Okay. Vladimir didn't notice. Vladimir will probably just die. He'll try to flash away if he has flash available. Oh, just dies. Nicely executed by the Master Yi, going back and forth. He'll go for a dive again. If he dies here, the Kayn will get a lot of stacks. I'm not happy with this trade, technically, because you see, he didn't get anything else from this kill, like he had the item anyway. Plus, he gave the Kayn a bunch of stacks. Because if I'm not mistaken, you still get the stacks even though you're dead in base. That's what I've seen every single time I played, unless I looked wrong, which could be a possibility. Kayn should be relatively close to his form though, no? Unless he doesn't want to go for red. But if he doesn't go for red, how is he supposed to kill Yi? How is he supposed to kill Ornn and Darius? Oh, they heavily focus on the Darius down there. He should get the red form now. Goes in, raw dive. Yeah, bye bye Soraka. Darius double killed, however that was possible. Huh. Okay. How did that one work out? What illegal sorcery did this guy cast on them? The illegal sorcerer. And another stack. Yummy. And another blue buff into the pocket of the year. Exactly what we like to see. And another one, and another one, and another one. It never stops. Farming, farming, farming. This time not playing Overgrowth, but Sudden Impact. Very interesting choice. Okay, we have Red Kayn. Red Kayn with a bunch of AD is the craziest stuff ever. Serpent's Fang. Okay, so he already rushed his item. Okay, yes, okay. Gargoyle on the Ornn. I mean, technically speaking, if you don't have the item completion on first objective, and the enemy, like right now, you'll probably not face anyone with shields in a situation unless like you fight them in the jungle. And then, like, I prefer Serpent's Fang's second item a lot more. Because first item, it usually, like, denies your power spike. Oh, full life again. And you don't really have much value outside of, for example, let's say your first item completion, the enemy team has Shen and a lot of other shielding champions, and you just want to deny their power at this objective as much as possible. Whereas here, you technically slow down your farming speed and your overall damage for the sake of being able to cut through shields, but what shields are you cutting realistically at this point? Like, it's something that's like a little bit suboptimal. Like, it doesn't matter too much. It only matters if you like have to carry like everyone on your back. He doesn't have ult. Kai'Sa flashed away, flashed over the wall, and we spot her. Hello. Yeah, red buff. Like, if red buff wasn't so overpowered, she actually survives. By the way. Oh no, he presses ult and runs after her. but he at least has to invest ult. It's just insane to me that red buff isn't nerfed. Kane coming in. Nice one here with the meditate. Run, Forest! Oh, hell nah. Again, another instance of red buff saving him. Now he wants to get the craft by Lorenito. Got it. Ah, the good old farming. Like, the team is just, the team is fighting for whatever reason on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, the E's like, yeah, let me get some gold. My camps have been up for quite some time. I need some money. I will not partake in this idiocy, just tomfoolery, and I'll just get some money. This is the thing about WildRift that if you play jungle, will probably make you tilt so much. Because people just love to fight for zero reason. And obviously, like, when I'm in the mood to just troll around, which nowadays is probably 60 to 75% of my time in playing the game, um, it is fun. But if you actually play to win, it is, yeah, it is not it. Let's put it this way, it is not it. Oh, man. We're so close to the blade completion. And we got it. He's gonna deal so much damage. You definitely don't want to mess with this E. Because Blade, like in the last game he didn't have Blade, like this game he has Blade. It's such an insane spike for him, like it's so much damage. Okay, Naras here doesn't really have any form points. You see the damage is on another level right now. He gets completely focused, survives here. Nar comes back in, gets flashed on, and he lives with 1 HP and he just traveled through 19 dimensions in this play. Like, you remember the movie Interstellar? Like, he just looked into the wardrobe and saw like every parallel universe happening. He just went from left to right to left to right, from up and down, and then just suddenly died. Oh, it's Black Cleaver, Kane. Damn, the Kane is there to save the day. The day has been saved. And again, we have this weird situation of just, looking for fighting. Like, this is what I dislike most of the time in WildRift. If people don't bring waves into position, you have this lull state where nothing happens. And if you're winning too hard up until Nash spawns, it's so annoying because every single thing you do could actually hurt you more than it benefits you due to bounties and etc. And you can't end the game anyway. Like, it's not really feasible to end, like, being able to end the game pre-Nasher because of Nexus Shield and overall, like, wave clear existing, minions dying too fast if they get close to tower, and then when you have Baron minions that are too strong, it's like you just can't make it right, unfortunately. The team is running it down mid lane, engaging into a fight. The Samira is killing the Vladimir. The Marcy is looking for an angle from the flank. The enemy is retreating. Having a Soraka though will enable them to quickly heal up, especially being next to the fountain. Never mind, Soraka just dies, and another one dies, and another one dies. Now Samira dies. One reset wasn't enough, and the Kane is 125 gold into the pockets of the victor. And yeah, the enemy team is just choosing to lose it themselves. Meanwhile, the Master Yi is like, yeah, let me play the macro game. I'll actually clear the waves and try to finish the game. You go into the base and get yourselves killed for funsies. Happens so many times when you play jungle. Like, if you remember the streams I did playing jungle, trying to win, oh my god, I was so mad. Every single time. So mad. This one should be a wrap though. Like, there's no way the enemy comes back. And honestly, I really hope that they'll finally nerf more. More needs an adjustment. This item is way too good as it is. It's really way too good. Compared to Wit's End, it's a crazy item. Okay, can this be stolen? Nope, cannot be stolen. Even like, honestly speaking, yeah, they got the soul. But if you die, your game is over. Um, I think whatever happens, the game is lost anyway for the enemy team, but maybe they could have gotten a better fight. Like, if they want to play this, like, the Nidus objective, they need to be in position earlier, but the problem is they have 3 killed inhibitors, so there's just only L angles. Like, you see here, there's 3 inhibitors down, Nash spawning, and it's just, there's nothing to do. There's just nothing to do. They can't really walk in here. If they walk in here, they'll just get the wave, the base completely decimated, and now the game is lost. But the thing is, like, many of you would be like, okay, but if we go there, we lose the game. Yeah, but if you don't go there, you also lose the game, because now the game is also lost. You're 3 inhibitors down while the enemy team has Baron, and that is a game-ending thing. Unless we run it down. Which seems to be happening. But the Master Yi is going to be there for the rescue. He's gonna bring it home. Everyone dies. Ah. Well. The game was won until his team decided to just not win. I mean, obviously you can make the argument it's very much grief of him to go into his own jungle while they have Baron. That is something you never want to do. But on the flip side, you just walk waves in and you win automatically without having to do anything. Kayn being spotted, Kayn knocking up, and he is a goner. And now he's hunting. Oh, we got a time skip. And that is going to be Elder. They are not in a position to do anything. So now this game should be over, don't know? Like, there's no way. But what I like the most about watching Chinese play is generally just the jungle clear. Like, watching this game gives you a very good idea about the jungle clear, which is the most important part of your early game, and then a very good idea about the first power spike, which is related to just your boots. And then you get an even better idea about your damage by just having, like, you see the items you have, like, barely any damage items early game. And yeah, that is it for this video. I'll stop it here. If you want to watch the remainder, like the rest of the video, feel free to check out the channel description below. And as per usual, have a beautiful day. Don't forget about the giveaway of the zoo. And if you want cheaper skins, check out the zoo as well. And we'll see each other for more content very soon. Bye bye.